Hey everybody, welcome to my TED Talk about TDIU. Just kidding, I'm not that excited about it. TDIU is a topic that's not covered very often. We're going to cover one specific thing about TDIU, so stick around and we're going to check that out here in just a second. Before that, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you like and share the video, it gets out to more veterans. If you comment, please, I encourage everybody, get involved in the conversation. Let us know your experience. Tell me if I'm off base, or hey, this helped me out, or hey, it didn't help me out, but I can see where it helps others out. That kind of feedback is important to me, but it's also helping spread the word on the channel, right? The more veterans I the more veterans that I reach, the better off I think I'm doing my job here. And this is not my full-time job. You can tell I'm still in the hotel. I am still traveling for work. It's actually the same day as my last video, but I needed to take the time to get these videos up and out for you. So let's talk about TDIU, but we're gonna only talk about one specific part about it, okay? There's a difference between unemployment and unemployability. And people who are filing for TDIU need to be extremely clear on what this means. Unemployment. This basically means you don't have a job right now. It's temporary, right? And anyone can be unemployed at any given time. So unemployment is just that, it's temporary. Unemployability. This is a legally defined term, right? And it talks about this person cannot hold substantial employment, meaning enough employment to keep them, above water, etc., and can't hold down a job because of one of their service-connected disabilities. I'll give you an example. If you have anxiety attacks 5 times a day and you work in an IT department, and you freak out on people and scream at people because you have one of your episodes and they fire you for that, and you go to your next job and you have the same thing happen again, now there's some type of connection going on. As long as that anxiety is caused by your service connection, or you have a service connection for that disability, then you've got something to stand on, right? But unemployability, you're unable to hold any substantially gainful employment due to your service-connected disabilities. It's not just about being unemployed. It's about not being able to keep a job, even if those jobs are out there. So remember that. So let's talk about the factors to determine unemployability. Number one is the severity of your disability. I gave you an example just a couple minutes ago. It's a medium example. That's not a high-end example, but it's a medium example. And I could see where, that could significantly impede your ability to work, right? You're having these panic attacks, anxiety attacks, you have to leave your desk, or you have headaches. Let's just say you have headaches and you have to leave your desk 2-3 times a week for 2 hours so that you can go lay down because it's the only way that you can feel better, right? And you get let go because of work productivity issues, and you go to another job and the same thing happens there, you're building that case, right? That's the unemployability case right there. The next factor is education and work experience will be considered. If you held a job for 20 years and it was the same company, same job, you got promoted 3 or 4 times, and then since then, you've started having these panic attacks, or you've had these headaches start up, and you've had a job for a year and then you get fired, and you have a job for 4 months and you get fired, you have a job for a month, you're fired. That's going to be harder to prove because you have 20 years with the same company prior to that. It's not impossible, but it's going to be harder to prove. So I want you to keep that in mind. They're going to look at your education and your work history. If you're educated enough to go get a job and you have good work history, you're gonna have a hard time busting out that TDIU unless you can really prove that you are unemployable, right? Unemployability, you're unemployable because you can't seem to hold down a job. Lastly is age. age can play a factor in your career, and age will play a factor in your civilian career at some point. I'm in my 50s, and if I lose a job right now, not that bad. If I lose a job 3 years from now, I'm going to have a much harder time finding another job. And if I can build all that back in and find a way to connect that back to my service, which I wouldn't be able to do at this point in my life. Right now, that just doesn't happen. But if I was able to build that back after that, age becomes a factor where they say, well, he really is unemployable because they're not pulling him in anymore because of his age, but only over and above that, he's got all these symptoms and all this condition, and he's constantly gone for headaches and blah, 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 blah. So listen, that's what I wanted to cover today. Unemployment versus unemployability. Unemployment, I'm temporary without a job. Everybody knows what that's like. I think we've all been on unemployment or been unemployed at some point in our life. Unemployability means you can't hold one down. Make sure your documentation is good. Make sure your work history shows the right stuff. Make sure your disability is severe enough to have caused these things. Put that connection together and add in the age factor, and maybe you'll find yourself with TDIU. Good luck to you. Take care.